Have you ever looked at successful people? They're walking their path, they're living their purpose, they have the financial freedom, the time freedom, location independent, and wondered, well, how did they get there? How did they make it happen? What was their journey? Is it possible for me too? And well, if I'm heart-centered and if I'm on a spiritual path, is it possible for me to be successful in business and receive the financial freedom and independence at the same time? Well, you do not need to look any further. My name is Louise Cameron Edlund, and I am on a mission to interview the amazing, heart-centered, soulful purpose leaders who have the success to share with us their formulas, their wisdom, so that we can learn from the amazing trail of success breadcrumbs on the path. So that we don't have to wonder, we don't have to guess, we get to hear right from the mouth of the successful people just what it takes and how we can make it happen for ourselves too. Now, I have an amazing guest, Kim Mellor, and she is a powerful, soul-centered woman who is in the 2% of her business, where many people will say, well, you can't get to that point. It's just not realistic. And she smashed through that, and she is sharing everything that she has for you to know what it takes and how you can lead your authentic version of success. So without any further ado, let's begin with today's podcast series with Kim Mellor. Welcome, Kim Mellor, to our beautiful Soulful Purpose podcast. I can't think on a more vibrant, fizzy, beautiful Soulful Purpose leader to be here, sharing all about your story and all about your journey from beautiful Bali.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for having me, Louise. What an absolute joy to see you inspire and create this ripple effect of purpose and passion with the world. Thank you for having me on.
Yay! It's amazing to have you here. And so, Kim, I mean, one of the things that I love about you is you represent to people the person who, everybody's got this dream and these visions, and you work with Arbonne. And usually when people maybe go to do these things, friends and family will be like, when they read about you, like, oh, that won't happen. That doesn't happen. Like, this doesn't just happen to you. This isn't realistic. But you proved that wrong, and you just smashed that right out of the park, and you became one of the 2% in the company and just broke that BS down and said, this is possible. And not only is it possible, but it is life for me. And it's so inspiring to see somebody who just rises up against the odds and makes it happen. So I would love to hear about, well, what is the life in that top 2% in this beautiful company, and what is your mission with this? Because you aren't a woman who's got a job. This is your service. This is your mission. So I would love to hear you talk and explain your mission and what it is that you do and how that life is.
Wow. What an introduction. I literally could not have written that myself. Wow. Thank you, beautiful human. Thank you. So I just want to talk about this 2% thing, because I don't want anyone listening to this thinking this is some kind of elite level that, only the select few can get to. There is nothing special about me. And this is what I'm so passionate about sharing is, I am just an ordinary girl who chose to work on herself, who chose to believe in the possibilities and took the action. 2% of people get to my level because 2% of people are willing to work on themselves and actually go after their dreams. It's like anything in business or anything in life. There's always the top % of people who are really successful. And so one of the things that I love about Arbonne and network marketing is the fact that anyone can start. with no degree, no discrimination whatsoever. But also you have to be the kind of person who is hungry enough to work for themselves and face fears, overcome them, have challenges and work through them. You know, I mean, where do I even start with my journey? Like, shall I start from the beginning?
So yeah, start from the beginning. And I just love that you've said, like, this 2% is not elite. Like, for us to get that out of our head, that these successful people at the top, that it's some elite breed, that it's just not attainable. It's literally a mindset. And you've done this work to conquer the mindset that this is unattainable to people and it's only this elite top. And you've proven it with your work and your commitment and probably your why as well. So, I mean, I would really love to hear your journey about, well, where you started and what kept you going and what that why was that just gave you that juice and that fuel. Because, I mean, I'm quite sure your success wasn't just like, ooh.
No. It's really important. Like, success is relative, isn't it? It's like, what is success? You know, I'm not yet where I want to be. And so I've had to work on myself and think, Kim, enjoy the journey. There's no destination, because I still feel like I'm not where I want to be. But if you'd have told me 8 years ago that I'd be sat in Bali, I would have booked a one-way ticket and packed one suitcase full of clothes and gave away 90% of my possessions. I would have thought you were absolutely crazy, because success to me now has been redefined. So 8 years ago, let me cast your mind back. 8 years ago, I was 19 years old. Joking, I wish. I was 28 years old. And I was a full-time model, had a great life on the outside. You look at me and go, oh my God, Kim's life is perfect. She's a model. She's traveling around the world. She's got a partner. She's got a penthouse apartment in the city centre of Leeds. Yeah, not Liverpool, Leeds. And you would have thought, oh my God, her life is sorted, right? But inside, my soul was desperately seeking something. And bearing in mind, at this point, I'd never read a book, never been into personal development, never been into meditation, never been into any kind of spiritual personal growth. I knew there was something more, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, how do people create this wealth where they can feel free, do what they want, be who they... I'm working really hard as a model. And this was the thing, you know, we're taught and educated to be a part of a system. You go to work, you get paid, you get 4 weeks holiday. Great, you retire at 66 years old. You are self-employed. Great, you work for yourself. But if you don't work, you don't get paid. So if I didn't go into work, I wouldn't get paid. So I was always capped on what I could earn. And anyone who has a job or is self-employed is always trading time for money. And I got it. I was like, this is why the poorer get poorer and the rich get richer, because they just become a part of a different system. So I was on my hands and knees one day praying for a solution. And then my friend Sean, who's very successful into property, said, I've got a business for you. You need to take a look. Now, bearing in mind, I was not into products. I was not into business. So when I first saw what this was, I was a bit like, oh, what are people going to think of me? Like, can I do this? All these BS beliefs were coming up. And then when I heard the information he shared, I was like, this is really freaking smart. Like, why would I not do this? And when I heard that you could earn unlimited amounts of money, you know, you could earn a part-time income, full-time income, or create wealth, I was like, that's me. I'm going straight to the top. So it made sense to me. Like, logically, I didn't really get it, but vibrationally, it's almost like my soul said, this is the vehicle that you've been looking for, but was wrapped in a different box. And this, again, is what I'm passionate about, is people do something, or they want to be a certain role in a job because they know they'll feel a certain way by doing it. Arbonne came wrapped in a different package, and it's what happens to most people. They're not looking for Arbonne, but they're looking for fun, freedom, fulfillment, the opportunity to give back, to be part of a community, to be part of a mission, to really be of service in the world. But it's just wrapped in a different package. So as soon as you can get past what things look like and actually look at the feeling and the impact that is a byproduct of that, it was a game changer for me. So yeah, started 8 years ago and started to read oh my God, if you'd have seen me 8 years ago, I've actually got videos of me speaking on camera, and I literally laugh at myself. I love myself in all phases, at all stages, but that was a different Kim. And so I have really transformed a lot. Just like you, Louise, I've invested time and money and energy in getting up early, going to bed late, in myself and in my development. And I got to the point in my business where I was successful. I had the car, the status, the money, all that kind of stuff. I was like, yes, I've made it. And it made me feel validation from the outside. And then, of course, like most things, that validation doesn't make you really feel good about yourself. And I was like, there's something more to me than this. And again, it sent me on this journey of deepening my purpose and why I'm actually here. So I went from listening to like the Grant Cardone, the hustle, the grind, the Tony Robbins, which is all great, but there was still a bit missing. And that missing piece was the spiritual growth and the alignment and the feeling and the vibration, which I know you're so passionate about.
Love it. So true.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Like there was a point in your life as well where you flipped from the lifestyle you had to where you are right now, like a spiritual awakening, right?
Absolutely. And I really resonate in what you're saying, that it takes a choice when we say like, actually, I choose the success. And when we realize that what stopped us from the success is literally like a pattern way of thinking and believing, like you even said, you know, there is an expression, you know, the rich get rich, or whatever beliefs we have, like successful rich people are selfish, or whatever that is. We all have it, and it might not make sense, and yet we're going to come across it because it's what society believes. Hey, it might even be what friends believe or people in your community, and when you start challenging that within yourself, then we're going to get our own BS, their BS, and we need that model of success as well to look up to, these inspirational people, and start to really look at them and say, I can have that, I can be that. And when I believe in myself enough, and when I believe in something beyond me enough, and when I can connect both the maybe like material desires with our spiritual desires and what we're really doing beneath like what you see, the depth of what successful people are bringing to the table as they speak, you realize that, oh wow, like business is a spiritual journey. And if you want to know about yourself spiritually, go into business, because you're going to have to face and overcome things and learn and grow in an incredible way that you see that business is a spiritual path. And I feel when I really made that connection, like yourself, like as you said, been to all the seminars, paid out thousands upon thousands in growths and seminars. But when the connection to the spirit and the spiritual journey in business, when these two came together, it was like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think building your business and like growing anything that requires you to be the forefront of it, like you have to get to know yourself. And so because I went from being a model to then building my business, I was still hiding behind the company and hiding behind this facade. And then I realized in order for me to go to the next level, I have to step out and be me. And so probably about 3 years into my business, I really got uncomfortable just being myself. And I remember looking at all these people thinking, oh my gosh, like, why are they so magnetic? Like, why am I so drawn to them? And ultimately they were just being themselves. And so the past 4 years I've been on this journey of really just being comfortable being myself and not feeling like I have to be like anyone else or do it like anyone else, and just stay in my own lane. And this is where my spiritual practices come in. This is where like really getting to know myself and meditation, and it's just been absolutely transformational. So where I am right now within Arbonne is, you know, I thought on paper that success was being at the next level up. And so what I've come to realize is that actually what is success? Does that status give you another pin, another external validation for you to go, yeah, now I'm worthy? And what I've realized through self-love and meditation and spiritual growth is that success is an inside job. Success is the person you're becoming, the challenges you're facing, it's the impact that you're making. And so because I redefined what success meant to me, I stopped comparing. I stopped feeling bad about myself, because if you're comparing or you're judging yourself for where you are or where you're not, and why is it taking me so long and why am I not there yet, it's a negative vibration. And vibration is 80% of success. It's how we show up. It's how we attract things. And so if you're on that negative vibration of the scale, you're going to attract more things to confirm that. And for so long, I was justifying, thinking, well, if that hadn't happened, then I'd be further along. And if that hadn't happened, then I'd be further along. But where is this place we're trying to get to anyway? This magical destination that doesn't even exist. You know, it's like, this is why you have to make the journey feel like the destination. So I feel like my journey so far has just been massively about discovering myself, discovering my real purpose, and just feeling completely aligned every single day. And living in Bali, waking up and living my life how I want to live it is success to me. You know, with all the BS that's happening in the world right now, I didn't know that 8 years ago, that I would be really needing this online business and these tools more than anything, the tools that I've been equipped with. Because take away everything that I've got physically, you're left with who you are. You know, your listeners are listening to this. Like, if you were to lose everything tomorrow, how would you feel about yourself? Because if you're always outsourcing your worth to things that can change, what happens when those things change? So if your listeners have got a job and they're going for this job role and then all of a sudden they lose it, does your validation go along with it? Does your self-worth go along with it? Or can you stay in your center and go, it's absolutely fine, it's all perfect, everything's working out for me, I know this is just a detour in another direction, every obstacle is here to help me and nudge me in the right way. You know, really having that faith and trust in the universe is an absolute game changer.
I love it so much. And I love how you can both represent like where you've been, because there was a point where you weren't living this life and you weren't living in this trust, and you were placing who you are into external things that will change. And that commitment that you had to making what you believe now just be part of your being, that you worked on that and there was commitment and you showed up for that, and you started to move away from a whole way of thinking and being. And that's not always comfortable, but you've done it, and you conditioned yourself for this success, and you conditioned yourself for this trust, and you really embodied it, and you made it happen. So you're not just somebody who's at the top who like switched your camera on one day and showed up like you are today, like beaming in light and just speaking so powerfully and eloquently, being who you are. That your first videos when you started, you're saying, I mean, I love all versions of me, but I was somebody who showed up in this way. And even though I didn't have a clue, or maybe I didn't even know how to show myself, like I still just kept on showing up and switching that camera on, and I kept on speaking, and I just kept on doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it until I became who I am, until I conditioned this and I chose this and I made it happen. I became someone else, in the sense of really just becoming your authentic, true self, and letting go all these layers of who you thought you were and the things that you had that you thought made you who you were, and you just shedded this layer by layer and just let go of like, this isn't me and this doesn't define me. And even though you probably at times felt that, oh my God, am I changing? Or maybe people around you maybe said, oh my God, she's changing, like she's not Kim anymore. You were like, yeah, that's right. That's not me anymore. And that never was me. And this is who I am. And I'm prepared to shed this. I'm prepared to let go of this. I'm prepared not to be defined by things that maybe other people have defined me by, or I've defined me by, or society's defined me by. And finally be like, well, this is me in my most authentic expression right here, right now. And maybe that will change. And it's so inspiring to witness you share that story. And for anybody, whether you're like, oh yeah, that's so easy for me to say, yeah, I can let go of this and I can say everything's happening in my favor, or whether you can, it doesn't matter, because both of these people that might show up when they hear this, like, oh, that's too scary for me, or I don't know if I can trust this, and the people that are like, yeah, I'm ready, I can trust this, either way, it doesn't matter. Both sets of people can have this success because you've been both of these people. And so it doesn't matter where you are. If you have that vision of how it could be and you commit to that, then this is what happens. You are that beautiful example of living that truth.
Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, your listeners are so lucky to have you. And yeah, if anyone is listening and if they are thinking, oh yeah, I mean, how do you trust in this world of craziness? What's the alternative? Like, to live in fear and try and control? I'm pretty sure you couldn't control a baby growing from a fetus to a human. I'm pretty sure you didn't control the world moving around. I'm pretty sure you didn't control the tree growing from an acorn into an oak tree. So look at nature, go outside, look at the magnificence that is created from the universe, from consciousness. We're all a part of consciousness. I can guarantee you, as soon as you start putting faith in the universe and you build a relationship with it, it will start to work with you. It's like, imagine if you had a boyfriend and you just ignored him and just thought, oh, you're a load of rubbish, I don't believe you, like you're just an absolute twaddle. He wouldn't treat you well, and it'll just confirm the belief that you have that you're not supported. And so even with my business now, for so long, I kept saying to myself, I need to do everything myself. Like, it's not good. No one's going to do it as well as me. And I was creating this world of like anxiety and frustration. And I was just creating my life to be absolute chaos. And I didn't need it to be, because I didn't feel worthy of living a life where I'm earning fantastic money, but also having time. Like, oh my God, I need to be a busy fool, like always working every hour of the day, because I thought that busy was a badge of honor. And I thought that my self-worth lied within being busy. And I realized that no, it doesn't. Like, we are all worthy. You know, as women, we have wombs. We can create life in our body. Like, you don't need to prove how much you earn. You don't need to prove how much you're worthy, because we're all born the same. When you start judging yourself, you start judging other people. And it's just knowing that, like, we're all part of the same jigsaw puzzle, but some people are further on in terms of their focus and their implementation. We're all like the exact same. So what you see in others is what you see in yourself. So bear that in mind the next time you go and judge someone, or you go and like point the finger or blame someone, because you're always going to have three fingers pointing back at you. And so taking radical self-responsibility for where you are right now is key. Like, I had to look myself in the mirror and go, Kim, how am I creating this? Like, if you don't like the world that you see, it's because it's starting within you. And I had to get really honest with myself and go, actually, what are my thoughts creating? Because thoughts create feelings, and it's the feeling and the emotion behind those that manifest. We're all manifesting 24 hours a day, whether you think you are or not. So you're manifesting your life right now. So in order to change that, you have to change your thoughts and how you feel. So it's really key that you're so grateful for your life right now, whether it's a challenge you're going through, whether you just lost your job, whether you've been made redundant, and you're listening to this thinking, how the heck do I find my purpose? Like, why am I here on this earth? Be so grateful. And just keep choosing the next best feeling thought, because then that will help the momentum to build. And then all of a sudden you feel better, your vibration rate rises, and then you get an opportunity come your way. That's when someone that you've been thinking about rings you. So it's always focusing on, where is my vibration? And am I taking full responsibility for that?
I love that. And as you say, it's like strategies are all very well and good, but it's that 20%, and that 80% is just your alignment, how you're showing up, what you're choosing to think and believe. And our results are from our actions, and our actions are from our thoughts. And that's how we manifest in that sense, because we're creating our actions based on what we're thinking. And I've been in that place where you look at successful people and you have your judgments, and you might look at Kim, or I might have looked at Kim like years ago and be like, oh, well, all very good for her. You know, she's got the money to do the things that make her feel good, so it's easy for her. Or, oh yeah, well, if I had that, then of course I would be happy, and blah blah blah, whatever it would be. Like, we don't have to judge ourselves, because I've been there. I'm not even saying I don't have my moments, but when I catch it, it's not me, it's a thought, it's a belief, and you get to say, as you said, Kim, you get to choose it. And so whenever, now, practice with yourself, listeners, like, what judgments, what thoughts come up, and just capture it and say, is this something I choose? Is this going to be of service to that? And as Kim said, and as she's shown it, you can reframe that into something that's going to be more supportive to you and success. And I went from being somebody who, I'm going to admit it, I did have jealousy towards some people who were successful in one point in my life, because I didn't know it was possible for me. And when you catch it, then you say, well, if I'm going to have three fingers pointing back at what I'm sending out, what do I want to send out? Well, I want to celebrate people. I want to be celebrated. So you start seeing successful people who have what you want. And instead of being like, oh, easy for them, or oh, I wish that was me, or easy for them, you celebrate them and you say, I'm inspired by you. Whenever, even if you're jealous, like, even if you have to, you know, fake it till you make it, condition yourself to celebrate people who are living what you want to live, who are doing what we want to do, who encapsulate that hope that anything is possible. Celebrate that until those three fingers of celebration for you come back to you. So I love so much that you're sharing that, Kim, and it's anybody can embody this right now, right today. We can choose this.
Choose. It's a choice. And just on that jealousy thing, okay, so jealousy is a really good thing because it actually shows you what you want. So I don't get jealous of people that own animal sanctuaries. I don't get jealous of people who live in 20 room, massive, humongous mansions in London, because that's not what I want. Jealousy reflects back at you the things that you want, but the only thing that's holding you back is you. So it's thinking, what is it within myself that's stopping me from having that? And so it's the energy behind it. And so, like you just said, the celebration energy, being so grateful that that person is showing you, thank you so much for showing me what I want. I'm choosing that it's already done. So instead of saying, how can I get that? Imagine it's done. And how do you choose to show up? You know, it's already done. It's already done. It's already done. You just have to step into it in the now as already being done. And one big thing that I'll end on is, I had one of the biggest spiritual growth journeys I've had a couple of things, but one of the biggest ones with my mum passing away suddenly. I got a phone call one day and my auntie said that your mum's just had a brain hemorrhage, and she just literally went. That was 4 years ago. So that was a moment in my life that transformed everything. And I believe that she actually passed away early to help me awaken spiritually so that I could help the world. And people say to me, like, how did you get over that so quickly? I think I grieved for about, a couple of weeks or a month. And it's because I wasn't afraid to go deep into the grief, to really feel it, and then come out of it. I'm not going to harbor this grief for the rest of my life, because she wouldn't want me to do that. She wants me to go and live my life. So all these things that happen are here to help you awaken spiritually. And then I had another incident where I literally lost all of my life savings, and some of the money was from what mum gave me to a friend in an investment. And it literally was the biggest energy sucker for about 2 or 3 years. I was blaming myself, blaming him. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was in this lack mentality and not being abundant because of what if someone takes my money again. And that's what kept me stuck for so long. But it's what has transformed me beyond measure, because I know that when I become a millionaire and help so many people, I'm going to know exactly what to do with money and how to not make those mistakes. And so the energy of me having to get out of that blame was actually more valuable than the money that I lost. And so now when anything happens in my life, nothing phases me.
Wow.
So actually sometimes the bigger the cost that you have to pay is actually because you need to learn the size of that lesson to really help you to move forward. So everything's working out for you. Everything's perfect. Thank you for this amazing lesson. Wow, this must mean that I'm about to bring in some amazing abundance. And as soon as my energy shifted, that's when I just became happy. And
wow. And take note, guys. I'm taking notes of this because this is a success mindset. That even, and I mean, I had shivers. I even felt really emotional when you were sharing that with your mom, and even losing the money that she gave you. Your success mindset framed this into something for your highest. And that takes you out of victim. You're not a victim to life, that it's happening for you. And it's not like you just read a book and you're here just speaking from a book, like, oh, I read this in a book and I'm just sharing this. Like, you went to the depths of the abyss, that black hole, and you put that into practice. It was real. And that's just incredible for you to not only speak it and know it, but to embody it and live it. And this is where we get that choice. Like, you're not saying you get a choice in your thoughts. You know that because you were in such a place where that could have went so many ways, and you chose, even in that face, to frame that into something for your highest. And that's just incredible. Amazing. You're such an inspiration.
When you see the 2%, you don't see any of this.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you people like, oh my God, they're top 2%, you don't know that someone's mum passed away and that they've lost all their life savings, and that it's like the iceberg effect. So you really don't know. And this is why successful people are the people that have probably had the most shit happen in their life, because they're the most resilient. They've not been handed anything on the plate. You know, it's like millionaires, when they win millions from the lottery, they quite often lose it because they've not built up the resiliency and become the person that they need to be. And so the top 2% of people just condition themselves for success via what they've been through.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And I love so much what I was going to say, what actually ties in really beautifully with what you've said just now, is that you talk so much about getting your idea, your authenticity, living your life. And I like smiled when you're saying, like, I don't get jealous of people who have like an animal sanctuary, but for me, I do, or I don't get jealous anymore. But what I mean by that is that's my aspiration thing. And success can look very different, because if you just model a successful person, and I think, oh my God, I'm going to do whatever Kim does, which is great. We want to model successful people because they're leaving the clues along the way. That we don't want to do everything, because we need to just know, how do they condition themselves? How do they think? How do they choose to show up? And on top of that, we then put our unique template onto their blueprint. And we say, yes, I'm going to think like that. I'm going to change my patterns to this. And then you put your own unique flair into that. So Kim will say, for me, I don't want an animal sanctuary. Someone might say, I want an animal sanctuary, or whatever that is. It's like putting your stamp on the incredible success templates of those who we want to celebrate, because they're doing the work, so we get to do less work because they're paving that path to success, and we can follow them and be inspired by them and really start to create our authentic version of that. And just to know, as Kim says, as she shows, that the 2%, it's not an elite group of people. It's nothing special. It's a group of people who conditioned themselves and chose to reframe life to be in supportive of them, of their highest growth and their highest mission. And they chose it, and they walked it every day. And okay, maybe they stopped to rest sometime, but they got back up and they kept going, and they'll keep on going, because there's no end point to evolution and spiritual growth and success. It's a path. And here is a beautiful divine being walking her path, so that we can look to her and say, thank you so much for walking your path, for walking your truth, and letting us know that it's possible for us too. So thank you, Kim. And what do we do if we want to walk your path too? Like, how can we find you, and how can we get involved in your mission and walk alongside you on your mission?
Yay! Thank you so much. So kind. So you can follow me at Mellor _ on Instagram. I also have the Soul Digger podcast, which is all about helping you to make quantum shifts in your spiritual growth, impact, and abundance. So head over to Apple iTunes and join me over there. We've also got a Soul Digger podcast Instagram, so the Soul Digger _ on Instagram. I have a 5-day Align and Shine course, which is just 5 days on how to live aligned and just staying in your truth. And if anyone is interested in creating another revenue stream, so you can work from Bali, you can be a part of an amazing community, be part of a mission that's bigger than commission, then come and chat to me about Arbonne. I'd love to ask you some questions and see if it aligns. And if it doesn't, at least you know exactly what it is and the enormity of the impact that you could make with it. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. And thank you, Louise, for being you and being an angel and starting this amazing podcast. Please, guys, do screenshot this episode, tag Louise, tag myself. Let's spread this ripple effect. If you're listening to this, you're listening to it because you're a light worker and the world needs you. So spread this message of joy, because Louise is doing great work in this world as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. It's been an absolute blessing and joy. And I know our friendship's been amazing, and following you doing what you're doing, I'm definitely going to keep following all of your beautiful work and podcasts. And I'm sure that many people are going to be inspired and come and follow your beautiful lead of possibilities into this world. And thank you so much for taking your time to come on and shine your light for us all.
Thank you so much, Lulu. Bye.